It is Wednesday, June 12th, 2019. It is 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and so you know what time it is. It's time for a little bit of coin metal. And it was a very non-jiu-jitsu, get your ass kicked at Jiu-Jitsu Wednesday. It was a rarity. I almost went just to retain continuity. Fact is, I went Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. It was time for a day off, especially because Tuesday I actually did 2 classes, so it was a little bit of double duty. And on top of that, it was hot as motherfucking hell. I don't know if it's the same where you are, but it was hot today. It was hot yesterday. It was hot the day before. Hot. And, of course, I'm going to go fishing tomorrow, so it's probably going to be hot then, too. But, hey, what are you going to do? Anyway, as far as what I did get into on Tuesday, it was interesting because it was so hot that we didn't actually do gi jiu-jitsu. We did no-gi jiu-jitsu. And so that was a bit of an adjustment from yours truly. I like my grips, man. What can I say? I like my lapel grips. I like my sleeve grabs, but I don't necessarily need them in order to be effective. And it's funny, my game completely changes when I'm no-giing, and when I say that it changes, I mean a lot of the submissions and stuff I go for, it's not dependent on gis, and so you know that part of my game doesn't necessarily change, but the way that I play changes vastly because. You know, you don't have the grips to gain leverage, and in the grip, I do have some grips. They're just different. You know, like I really like to ear pin people, and what I mean by ear pin is if I can collapse your posture and get your chest down on mine. What I like to do is take my hand and put my middle finger on your earlobe and crush your head to my chest and hold it with my middle finger at your earlobe. See, if I can get that grip, you can't pull straight away. What you have to do if you're trying to disengage from somebody from that, you either have to turn your head first and then pull back, which is a chore in and of itself, or you got to get around one of my legs and try and navigate around the pressure that way. But yeah, nonetheless, today or yesterday, the last gentleman that I rolled with, it was kind of funny because we were doing positional sparring from full guard, and personally, I really like that because the hardest things for me are breaking somebody's full guard and getting past the guard from there, as well as one of the hardest things for me also is going from having the guard to doing something positive with it. And yesterday was just tough. And I think I was kind of taking it easy at first with the gentleman that I was rolling with. I think I had kind of an easy one with him where he was just like passing my guard left and right. But then I had gone up against him. I think it was that I went up against him on the beginner class and then went up against him again in the more advanced class. And during the beginner class, he was just like passing my guard left and right. However, during the last sparring session on the advanced class, I figured I had to apply a little bit more pressure, and so he was entirely unable to disengage my guard, and there was a reason why I did that, because he had the opportunity to have me in his guard first, and it was a chore and a half getting out of his guard, and I tend to blame myself when it comes to not being creative enough in that position. But I think it's because my opponents always tend to be really, really attached to me in trying to retain their guard, and so it's kind of reciprocal at the time that they're getting it, And so anyway, like I was saying, this gentleman was really clinchy with me. He's really holding me in tight with that that guard, but I did manage to circumvent it nonetheless. And so when it came time for him to be in my guard, I pretty much held him there. It's like first I'd break his posture, I'd hold him down, he'd work his way back up again, then he would try and get something out, he'd touch the ground or something like that, and I'd start going for a Kimura, and then he'd change his mind, bring his hands back, and he'd lean back, and then I'd break his posture, and then he'd pull his posture back, and so I really tired him out, and he never got out of my guard. And I know that's not really fun, but it's like this guy's kind of getting along a little bit. That he should be, I think, a little tighter on that. That he should have a few more tools available to him than the ones he was utilizing. Because I wasn't being really fast about going after him. I mean, when he leaned back, I leaned back too, and just rode my legs up higher onto over his hips. And so it's like, I wasn't being like overtly aggressive with him, but I wasn't letting him up. It was just a nice, casually timed fuck session. And so I had the rare opportunity of rolling with a young lady in our class, and I don't know, I've always been kind of weird with rolling with girls, only because I tend to press really hard. I tend to be really grippy, and I tend to, want to crush people. Well, that doesn't really work when you've got a lady under you, because, or on top of you or whatever, because, they're a little more frail than men are. It's true. Sorry, I know some feminist is wanting to chuck something at their monitor saying, women are equal to men, and yeah, whatever. Okay. Let me get on top of you and start going for like a choke or something like that, and then we'll talk about how equal we are. But anyway, don't get me wrong though, there are some exceptional women out there when it comes to jiu-jitsu. I mean, women that it doesn't matter who the guy is, they're probably going to kick his ass. And jiu-jitsu is intended to be one of those arts that isn't limited by your physical size. That if you're playing according to your body type and your opponent's body type, that if you're keeping those things in mind and just modifying your game slightly to deal with that, then you shouldn't be in too much trouble. But anyway, so I did take it very easy with her, and I was very, very slow and very, very casual, and I wasn't really gripping on, and being, really firm or anything like that. If she was trying to break something, I let it go, but nonetheless, I kept sweeping her and sweeping her and sweeping her, and then breaking out of her guard and breaking out of her guard and breaking out of her guard. But I was doing it with technique, and again, I was doing it very casually and very slowly and very methodically, and all technique based. I was really trying to stay away from using my explosiveness or using my strength against her, because those are just deficiencies that between us. The gap was too big to just take advantage of it and just maul her, because that wouldn't have been fun for anybody. It wouldn't have been fun for me. She wouldn't have enjoyed it, And so anyway, we just had a nice casual roll, and I'd like to think that she might have enjoyed it, and she might have actually learned a thing or two. But like I said, I did try and keep it casual, and I really did try and use the opportunity to explore the technique more than anything. And so, like I said, I want to say, like, everything I did was 100% technique. There was some minor improvisation. Like, I got this really good underhook on her, and I managed to turn it into a full sweep. But again, I didn't really utilize my strength too much in it, just my body position more than anything. And yeah, it was a lot of fun. But I sweated my ass off. I mean, I still had gi pants on, and I swear the only dry part was this last like 3 inches of the cuff of the leg. The rest of it was just like painted on me with sweat, and it makes it a little tough to move when you're kind of drenched to the bone with regard to having a gi on. But nonetheless, I had a good time, and I did feel like it was really productive. We did a neat triangle thing, and I had the hardest time with triangles. But I talk about fortune. The gentleman that I worked with on triangles, I'm not going to name names, but you will most likely face this guy if you train in the Pacific Northwest and you do competitions in jiu-jitsu. If you're in the purple belt range or have done any absolutes, you have probably rolled with this guy, or rolled against him rather. And he is so fucking good. I think he gets ahead of himself because he is so good, and he'll like blow through a step or two. But I mean, he's just so high energy and so strong that, like I said, I think he goes too fast sometimes, and I think maybe he could do with a little bit of yoga. But, when it comes to instruction, he's like top notch. And so he was guiding me through how to set up this triangle. And I have the hardest time with triangles because my legs are really, really short. And he has got a really broad torso. But nonetheless, I was able to get in probably the greatest triangle choke I've ever done. And I know I got it in because he was like, tap, tap, tap. I'm like, okay, I'm not going to kill you here. I'll let off. But, he was really guiding me in getting that knee pinch in and also getting a triangle bite. That was the thing that I kept doing, where like there's that part where you've got your leg up over their back and you've got to let go of something in order to get their arm on the other side of you. And so he told me, it's like, you just take your other leg, put it on top of your leg on my back, grab the arm, swap it over, then grab your leg, put your foot on my thigh, push off, get the angle, adjust, and sink in the choke. And dude, I got the angle every single time. I was like, yeah! Very victorious. Very victorious. And like I said, it's been like hell for me to try and get triangles. But this one in particular I liked because the setup for it doesn't look like that's what you're going for. It looks like you're going for a back take. And you even bring your leg up over the guy's back like you're trying to go for a back take. But then you bring the other leg around and you fucking triangle his ass. It was really cool. So anyway, that's what we were working. And I think the mechanics for it would be a little bit different if I were in a gi. Like you could grab the sleeve and pull it over and be able to hold it right and not have to worry about doing that again later on. However, this was a no-gi opportunity, and I think adapted as it was, I could see myself getting away with it at one point or another because it is a really trick kind of setup for it. Anywho, as far as what we're going to get into today, I got a white paper on the grill, and I know it's a rarity that we actually get to read those, but we're going to try. And I don't know how much scammery or whatever is in it. That's one of the things that will make me abandon a white paper is if I start reading it and I'm like, yeah, there's no way they're going to be able to pull this off. I just like abandon it. But as far as music goes, got some new music. And so we're probably going to be playing a lot of that today. And as a matter of fact, I think I'm going to start off with that. Got a little bit of Amarth, and the newest one, Berserker. And so I think we'll just have to start with Crack the Sky. I haven't heard this album yet, so this is a new one for me. And I mean, I just got it, just got the wrapper off, just got it ripped into the machine. And so here it is. I'm on Amarth, Crack the Sky, First Dance, here on Coin Metal. And that was Rio Grande Blood by Ministry. Yeah, and so finally, after years and years and years, I finally got banned from our Bitcoin. Apparently, they don't want you to know that you don't need an LN node in order to TX Bitcoin. Now, I don't know how these people intend to onboard people legitimately with deception. what the fuck is their problem, really? I don't understand it. I mean, like, this is a comment that got me banned. I'm going to go with the first person that I was replying to, and this was Cedric. He's been a Redditor for all of 5 weeks. As a currency, Bitcoin itself needs to be faster. LN needed. Also, you wouldn't want a currency to show who was using it. Privacy is important for commerce. Otherwise, business competitors can see the supply chain of their competition. So, this whole argument is moot. You don't need to see where it's being used. Just ask if someone is willing to accept it as payment for a transaction. If yes, then it was used. But as of right now, we really need LN for widespread adoption. It's painfully slow to use Bitcoin for transactions in its current state. No indication of why, right? This is my reply. You don't have the slightest clue why you are even here. I need an LN node. I've been using Bitcoin since there have been QT wallets. Haven't needed so much as a quote-unquote full node this entire time for any of my transactions to go through and be included in a block. Now, if this person had been... Oh, and look, apparently somebody had replied to me. We have no idea what you're talking about. You're not banned from our... No. It wasn't community chat. Yeah, anyway, I'll get back to them later on. Anyway, so it's like, the fact of the matter is that if this person had been using Bitcoin to begin with, like I and thousands of others have, they would know that they're being sold what we originally had, but through Blockstream or whoever's sponsoring the whole Lightning business. I guess that's Lightning Labs. But the point is that we didn't need Lightning nodes back in 2012, 2013. What was different is the congestion on the network. And what causes the congestion on the network? The fact that we're limited to a 1 megabyte block size. As you well know, if you've been listening to the show for any duration of time. And so it's like, they keep running into this. And as a matter of fact, I had somebody reply to me the other day that we need to keep the block size at 1 megabyte in order to incentivize layer 2 development. I'm sorry, I didn't get into this fucking thing so that you can fucking wing around a way around for me to pay some fucking intermediary to facilitate my transactions for me. I got into this so I don't need that motherfucker. Because I know he has to get regulated, and so he has to pay somebody money, and if it costs him more money, it's going to cost me more money. And contrast that with the fact that there are actually alternatives available, such as Litecoin or Monero or Verge. And really, are you going to wait around for them to figure out how to do Lightning so that you can do it on your phone and not have to pay anybody for your transaction fees? And really, that's going to be years before they're able to do that on a phone. And if it comes faster than that, I will be really surprised. But I still won't pay for another party to do it for me, especially, like I said, if I can use an altcoin and just circumvent all that bullshit. That's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm certainly not going to wait around for somebody to charge me for something that was relatively free not all that long ago. Actually, it was free at one point. Anyway, personally, I believe that it's those friction points that are going to make people abandon the idea of Lightning Network. Because these people are signing on with the assumption that they're going to have the same level of control and same level of participation that they did in the network as miners, or as much as miners did. And what they don't understand is that the ability that they're enjoying is being facilitated by a third party. Or at least it will be by the time they're able to use it. Because the whole reason for the whole reason for using it is to avoid having to repetitiously pay transaction fees for every single transaction, because those are getting really expensive and making Bitcoin not worth using. However, the problem is that the transaction fees don't ever go away. And as a matter of fact, they only get more expensive as time goes on. And so the fact is that in the not-so-distant future, you're going to need a third party just to establish your payment channels. No third party, no payment channel, no payments. You see how that works? And so you don't have to ban people from being part of the Lightning Network if they simply can't afford to interact with it. And I think this is a point that all of these people that ban others from participating in forums such as Our Bitcoin are trying to hide. They know that this reality is coming. They do not want people that want to onboard tomorrow, or that are willing to go through the cruft of setting up a node and all that other business. They don't want to dissuade them from the realities of by revealing the realities of the future, that in the not so distant future they're not going to be able to afford to set up their own payment channels, and so they're going to have to rely on a third party in order to do it for them. And by then they're not going to have any choice. And I'm sure that's what somebody is banking on. But the fact of the matter is that what I think is going to play out, and we've already seen instances of this before. We were talking last time about how cryptojackers have not given up, and that they've only gotten more sophisticated with what targets they try and compromise, and what kind of stuff that they're trying to make mine Monero for them. And I joked about this back when IoT and all that was such a big craze, was that you were going to come home to your smart home and find out that every single device that you have that's Wi-Fi capable is fucking mining Dogecoin or Monero or something else against your will, without your knowledge. But you're not going to be able to get in through your clickable front door or your voice-activated front door or whatever. You're not going to be able to get into your refrigerator. It's going to be too busy mining Monero. But I suggested that, but I think what's going to happen with regard to Lightning is that you're going to end up with large centralized nodes with significant amounts of Bitcoin in their hot wallets, and they are going to get fucking compromised. And I know that sounds kind of out there, but I'm pretty sure that's exactly how this is going to go down. Either that, or they're going to be cycling something that's not Bitcoin instead of Bitcoin, but I'm not going to go into that either. I think the bigger likelihood, though, is that they'll get 1,000 Bitcoin on a node or something like that, and because people aren't able to make their own nodes and afford to set up their own payment channels, they're going to go after those big nodes. And all of a sudden, Lightning is going to be a very adversarial zone, yeah. I don't see it working out the way they intend it to, really. In any case, I did say that I was going to get into a white paper, and I happen to have one right in front of me. It's 45 pages long. Whether or not we're going to cover all of it, I can't tell you. But I don't know that we're actually going to get through all of it, to tell you the truth, because it looks like scammy as fuck right on the front. And this is for CBet. Play at CryptoBet and earn CBet coins. Receive Bitcoin revenues from CryptoBet. Doesn't that sound fun? It says poker, live dealers, casino games, sports betting, automatic payouts. Oh my god, this sounds like either A, they've got a bit license already. Oh shit, and they're including Verge. Holy shit. That's interesting. And Doge. Yeah, they've got, let's see, Bitcoin Token Pay, Ethereum, Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash. Looks like Monero. Or is that the symbol for Ripple? I don't know. Tron, Verge, Binance Coin. Oh shit. That just doesn't sound good at all. Neos, EOS, something else. Tezos? No, that's not Tezos. That's Monero. So yeah, I guess the other one is XRP and Dash. Anyway, this is their white paper version 1.1, June 2019. Forward. Behavioral-based mining rewards represent the hottest trend in the crypto industry. There is no better market to disrupt with this new technology than the casino business. Players are tired of traditional rewards programs that only favor the house. We partnered with BlockSize, a leading blockchain development firm, and created CBet. Players register on TokenPay's Blast platform and link their CryptoBet account. They begin to earn CBet rewards in real time as a reward, simply for playing at the casino, win or lose. 100% of net gaming revenues from CryptoBet are distributed in Bitcoin to CBet holders until June 2029 and 80% thereafter in perpetuity. The gaming revenues are reported daily, so you have a good idea of what you will receive. The more you play, the more you earn. Players now have a clear incentive to play at CryptoBet in order to earn more CBet. Finally, we combine this with an incredible referral offer. Simply refer players to blast.so so they can start Blast so they can start playing and earn CBet. For every single CBet that one of your referral earns, you will receive 0.25 CBet. Man, these guys are getting fucking wrecked. CBet is fully licensed in Curacao and features thousands of games from the world's top providers. Pablo Quiras, general manager, Token Gaming. Let's see, we went through the forward. Important notice. Please read this section and the following sections entitled Disclaimer of Liability. No representations or warranties. Representations or warranties by you. Cautionary note on forward-looking statements, market and industry information, and no consent of other persons, no advice, no further information, or update restrictions on distribution and dissemination, no offers of securities or registration, and risks and uncertainties carefully. If you are in any doubt as to the action you should take, you should consult your legal, financial, tax, or other professional advisors. CBet is a blockchain rewards coin. This product can be interchangeably referred to as a coin or token. Do not acquire CBet coins with the intention of gaming capital. CBet coins do not represent any equity or partnership stake in CryptoBet or General Token Pay Enterprise. CBet coin is a blockchain product created by CryptoBet. It can be used as a utility token in the CBet blockchain. CBet coin has no value and there is no expectation of future value implied. Any rewards granted to members in the form of CBet coins for referrals or staking TPay or any other initiative does not imply or have any value and is not an investment. CBet coin is a product designed for blockchain technology enthusiasts. Oh, Jesus Christ. I'm going to tell you right now, guy, that little thingamabobber there does not relieve you from any liability in any jurisdiction. I don't give a fuck what you think. Continuing, no person is bound to enter into any contract or binding legal commitment in relation to the sale or purchase of the CBet coins, and no cryptocurrency or other form of payment is to be accepted on the basis of this white paper. Any agreement as between the distributor and as you, a purchaser, and in relation to any sale or purchase of CBet coins, as referred to in this white paper, is to be governed by only a separate document setting out the terms and conditions of such agreement. In the event of any inconsistencies between the T&Cs and this white paper, the former shall prevail. No regulatory authority has examined or approved of any of the information set out in this white paper. No such action has been or will be taken under the laws, regulatory requirements, or rules of any jurisdiction. The publication, distribution, or dissemination of this white paper does not imply that the applicable laws, regulatory requirements, or rules have been complied with. There are risks and uncertainties associated with CryptoBet and or the distributor and their respective businesses and operations. The CBet coins and the CBet wallet, each referred to in this white paper. This white paper, any part thereof, and any copy thereof must not be taken or transmitted to any country where distribution or dissemination of this white paper is prohibited or restricted. Too fucking bad. No part of this white paper is to be reproduced, distributed, or disseminated without including this section and the following sections entitled Disclaimer of Liability. No representations and warranties by you, cautionary note on forward-looking statements, market and industry information, and no consent of other persons. Terms used: no advice, no further information or update, restrictions on distribution and dissemination, no offer of securities or registration, and risks and uncertainties. To the maximum extent permitted by the applicable laws, regulations, and rules, CryptoBet and or the distributor shall not be liable for any indirect, special, incidental, consequential, or any other losses of any kind, in tort, contract, or otherwise, including but not limited to loss of revenue, income, or profits, and loss of use or data arising out of or in connection with any acceptance of or reliance on this white paper or any part thereof by you. Oh gosh, they didn't exempt themselves from failures on the part of their software or platform or their network? Understand that all information pertaining to the acquisition of CBet coins is contained in the white paper and on this website. Any information provided by a referral source is not authorized by CryptoBet and should not be relied upon when exchanging Bitcoin for CBet. Terms are subject to change without notice or notification. Disclaimer of liability. To the maximum extent permitted by the acceptable laws, regulations, and rules, CryptoBet and or the distributor shall not be liable for any indirect, special, incidental, consequential, or other losses of any kind, in tort, contract, or otherwise, limiting but not limited to loss of revenue, income, or profits, and loss of use or data arising out of or in connection with any acceptance of or reliance on this white paper or any part thereof by you. Understand that all information pertaining to the acquisition of CBet is contained in the white paper and on this website. All information provided by a referral source is not authorized by CryptoBet and should not be relied upon when exchanging Bitcoin for CBet. No representations and warranties. CryptoBet and or distributor does not make or purport to make and hereby disclaims any representation, warranty, or undertaking in any form whatsoever and to any entity or person, including any representation, warranty, or undertaking in relation to the truth, accuracy, and completeness of any of the information set out in this white paper. So in other words, it could be a complete lie and they are unwilling to stand by it. CryptoBet and or the distributor does not guarantee or warrant the site will be uninterrupted, without delay, error-free, omission-free, or free of viruses. Therefore, the information is provided as is, without warranties of any kind, expressed or implied, including accuracy, timeliness, and completeness. Representation and warranties by reader. By accessing and or accepting possession of any information in this white paper or such thereof, as the case may be, you represent and warrant to CryptoBet and or the distributor as follows. A. You agree and acknowledge that the CBet coins do not constitute securities in any form in any jurisdiction. B. You agree and acknowledge that this white paper does not constitute a prospectus or any other document of any sort. It is not intended to constitute an offer of securities in any jurisdiction or a solicitation for investment in securities. You are not bound to enter into any contract or binding legal commitment, and no cryptocurrency or other form of payment is to be accepted on the basis of this white paper. Okay, look, I'm going to point it out right now. It is not for CryptoBet to define as to what is a security or what is not a security. And also, it is not up to you to define what is or is not a security. The Security and Exchange Commissions of your country, or point of origin or place of residence or whatever, is all that really matters when it comes to what's a security and what's not. They are the ones that define what a security is, and they are the ones that will be coming after you. So yeah. C. You agree and acknowledge that no regulatory authority has examined or approved of the information set out in this white paper. No action has been or will be undertaken or will be taken under the laws, regulatory requirements, or rules of any jurisdiction, and the publication and distribution or dissemination of this white paper to you does not imply that the applicable laws, regulatory requirements, or rules have been complied with. D. You agree and acknowledge that this white paper or future trading of the CBet coins on any trading platform shall not be construed, interpreted, or deemed by you as an indication of the merits of the CryptoBet and or other distributor. The CBet coins and the CBet wallet, each referred to in this white paper. E. The distribution or dissemination of this white paper, any part thereof, or any copy thereof, or acceptance of the same by you is not permitted or restricted by applicable laws, regulations, or rules in your jurisdiction, and where any restrictions in relation to possession are applicable. You have observed and complied with all such restrictions at your own expense and without liability to CryptoBet and or the distributor. You agree and acknowledge that in the case where you wish to receive any CBet coins, the CBet coins are not to be construed, interpreted, classified, or treated as A. Any currency other than cryptocurrency. B. Debentures, stocks, or shares issued by any person or entity, whether CryptoBet and or distributor. C. Rights, options, or derivatives in respect of such debentures, stocks, or shares. D. Rights under a contract for differences or under any other contract or purpose or pretend purpose of which is to secure a profit or avoid a loss. E. Units in a collective investment scheme. F. Units in a business trust. G. Derivatives of units in a business trust. Or H. Any other security or claims or class of security. G. You have a basic degree of understanding of the operation, functionality, usage, storage, transmission mechanisms, and other material characteristics of cryptocurrencies, blockchain-based software systems, cryptocurrency wallets, or other related token storage mechanisms, blockchain technology, and smart contract technology. H. You are fully aware and understand that in the case where you wish to receive any CBet coins, there are risks associated with CryptoBet and the distributor and their respective business and operations. CBet coins and the CBet wallet, each referred to in this white paper. I. You are fully aware and understand that cryptocurrencies may have tax implications in your jurisdictions, including value-added tax and capital gains tax. No, I don't. And you agree and acknowledge that neither CryptoBet nor the distributor is liable for any consequences arising from tax implications regarding to the CBet coins, the CBet wallet, as referred to in the white paper. J. You are fully aware and understand that transactions regarding the CBet coins and the CBet wallet, each referred to in this white paper, may be subject to regulations in your jurisdiction regarding the trading platforms. No, I'm not, and I'm not going to be. K. You agree and acknowledge that neither CryptoBet nor the distributor is liable for any direct, special, incidental, consequential, or other losses of any kind, in tort, contract, or otherwise, including but not limited to loss of revenue, income, or profits, and loss of use or data arising out of or in connection with any acceptance of or reliance on this white paper or any part thereof by you. L. All of the above representations and warranties are true, complete, accurate, and not misleading from the time of your access to and or acceptance of possession of this white paper or such part thereof, as the case may be. Cautionary note on forward-looking statements. All statements contained in this white paper, statements made in press releases or in any place accessible by the public, and oral statements that may be made by CryptoBet and or the distributor or their respective directors, executive officers, or employees acting on behalf of CryptoBet or the distributor, as the case may be, that are not statements of historical fact constitute, quote, forward-looking statements. Some of these statements can be identified by forward-looking terms such as aim, target, anticipate, believe, could, estimate, expect, if, intend, may, plan, possible, probable, project, or project, should, would, will, or other similar terms. However, these terms are not the exclusive means of identifying forward-looking statements. In other words, that they're allowing themselves some wiggle room here. All statements regarding CryptoBet and or the distributor's financial position, business strategies, plans, and prospects, and future prospects of the industry, in which case CryptoBet and or the distributor are mentioned, are forward-looking statements. These forward-looking statements, including but not limited to statements as CryptoBet's and or distributors' revenue and profitability, prospects, future plans, other expected industry trends, and other matters discussed in this white paper regarding CryptoBet and or the distributor are matters that are not historical facts, but only predictions. These forward-looking statements involve known and unknown risks, uncertainties, and other factors that may cause the actual future results, performance, or achievements of CryptoBet and or the distributor to be materially different from any future results, performance, or achievements expected, expressed, or implied by such forward-looking statements. In other words, they're leaving themselves open for bait and switch. These, A, changes in political, social, economic, and stock or cryptocurrency market conditions and the regulatory environment in the countries in which CryptoBet and or the distributor conducts its respective businesses and operations. B, the risk that CryptoBet and or the distributor may be unable to execute or implement their restrictive business strategies and future plans, or respective business strategies rather. C, changes in interest rates and exchange rates of fiat currencies and cryptocurrencies. D, changes in the anticipated growth strategies and expected internal growth of CryptoBet and or the distributor. E, changes in the availability and fees payable to CryptoBet and or the distributor in connection with their respective businesses and operations. F, changes in the availability and salaries of employees who are required by CryptoBet and or the distributor to operate their respective businesses and operations. G, changes in preferences of customers of CryptoBet and or the distributor. H, changes in competitive conditions under which CryptoBet and the distributor operate, and the ability of CryptoBet and or the distributor to compete under such conditions, I, changes in future capital needs of CryptoBet and or the distributor and the availability of financing and capital to fund such needs. J, war or acts of international or domestic terrorism. K, occurrences of catastrophic events, natural disasters, and acts of God. L, Other factors beyond the control of CryptoBet and or the distributor, and any risk and uncertainties associated with CryptoBet and or the distributor and their businesses and operations, the CBet coins and the CBet wallet, each referred to in this white paper. All forward-looking statements made by or attribute to CryptoBet and or the distributor or persons acting on behalf of CryptoBet and or the distributor are expressly qualified in their entirety by such factors. Given the risks and uncertainties that may cause actual future results, performance, or achievements of CryptoBet and or the distributor to be materially different from that expected, expressed, or implied by the forward-looking statements in this paper, undue reliance must not be placed on these statements. These forward-looking statements are applicable only as of the date of this white paper. Actually, they're already faulty. I mean, I can think up one or two ways in which this thing will fall flat on its face just on its regulatory violations alone. I'm trying to make a minor adjustment here. Tell you what, I'm going to take a minor break in this bad boy and drop back down into some music, and then on the other side of it, we'll get back into that thing. I don't know how far we're going to make it into it, only because the kind of things that they're trying to exempt themselves from, you can't do it with just a bunch of words on a piece of paper. That kind of liability is established in court, and whether or not you expect that you have certain rights to recourse or whatnot is irrelevant. They can tell you all day long that you don't have any rights and you can't hold them accountable to anything. And they're just full of shit. They're full of shit. You can hold them accountable. Anyway, let's go ahead and throw back down into some music. And I'm feeling the need for some prong. And so here it is. Revenge, best served cold, here on Coin Metal. That was Machine Head with Clenching the Fists of Dissent. Yeah, and so I don't know how much further we're going to get into this white paper, but let's get past all legal bullshit. And let's see, market and industry information, terms used, no advice, no further blah, 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 blah. Just a whole bunch of legal bullshit. Here we go, executive summary. The online gambling business is booming. Gross gaming yield, GGY, is expected to reach nearly $500 billion this year. Recently, a new type of gambling platform has emerged, known as dApps, decentralized applications. These are hosted on blockchain platforms such as Ethereum, EOS, Tron, and Steam. Use of these new gambling applications have been surging and has overshadowed all other dApp use cases. Oh, I bet. In fact, gambling has contributed 97% of the transactions on the EOS public blockchain and 98% on Tron. Overall, according to Q4 2018 market report from DApp.com, 258 betting dApps have contributed $3 billion in volume based on 200 million transactions from over 200,000 active blockchain gambling users. These numbers should not surprise anybody. Adopting cryptocurrencies for gambling is an obvious use case, and this is the reason why it simply dominates the dApp ecosystem and the public blockchain transaction volume for the most used protocols. Fiat is severely limited in practicality in a gambling environment. Many features both gambling operators and players desire are not possible with fiat gambling. For instance, instant deposits and withdrawals are made possible only by blockchain technology and cryptocurrencies. Also, universal currency settlement is effortless. No longer is it necessary to convert between fiat currencies. Damn it. I'm trying to find something here on my desk, and Of course, I'm in pitch black dark, so it's not at all easy, because I can't see shit. Here we go. It is no longer necessary to have to convert between fiat currencies and place a bet. As a player, there is no need to submit a withdrawal request on hopes of getting paid. Automatic payouts are seamless. However, the gambling dApps have inherent flaws that will limit mass adoption. For one, the legality is questionable at best. Actually, we don't give a fuck. If we're gambling, we don't give a fuck. As a result, there are industry-leading gambling dApps with tens of millions of dollars in gaming revenue per day that are shockingly absent of even the most basic transparency and disclosure. Some even outright refuse to identify team members due to their fear of criminal reprisal. This means that the ability of these platforms to advertise in the media and raise capital is severely limited. Players are at the mercy of a potential exit scam at any moment. Furthermore, dApp gambling game development has been weak. This lack of innovation in game development is a constant complaint on gaming dApp discussion forums. People do not trust online gambling. I wonder why. Online gambling is plagued with problems, most of which can be resolved with blockchain-based solutions. Other gambling dApps mostly use unlicensed and uncertified games. You simply can't trust their games to provide a fair gaming experience. Most common user complaints: non-payment of winnings is 17%, unable to withdraw funds is 15%, well shit, that's 33% right there. Misleading promotions adverts, that's 14%. Incorrect bet settlement, 13%. So let's see. Between incorrect bet settlement, unable to withdraw, and non-payment of winnings, we're looking at, 45% of all the complaints. That'll give you a clue as to what's going on there. Issues relating to terms and conditions, 9%. Unfair random number generation, game is fixed, 7%. Unwanted, and that one is the one I'd be most concerned about, but apparently it's the issue of getting paid. Unfair random number generator, game is fixed, 7%. Unwanted marketing, ergo email, text, etc., 7%. Issues related to terms and conditions, I thought we already covered that with issues related to terms and conditions. They got it covered twice here with 16% total. And issues related to self-excluding, wonder what that means, 5%. Other, 6%. Okay. Therefore, it should come as no surprise that the major game manufacturers are generally only permitted to deal with licensed and reputable entities. Provably fair has become a term that is synonymous with dApp gambling, but unlike games certified by GLI and offered by regulator to operators, there is nobody to audit the code of the dApp. The system is ultimately designed to fail, as it is simply not sustainable or desirable for players and stakeholders, especially those outside of the niche cryptocurrency community. As such, potential legal factors, the lack of new and advanced game development, non-existent credibility and transparency, all of these negative aspects hinder the long-term growth of the dApp-driven blockchain gaming ecosystem. Albeit new, the concept of dApp gambling is a great one, but systemic flaws render it unscalable. Consequently, we have redefined the decentralized gaming system by leveraging our CryptoBet blockchain gaming platform through sensible tokenomics. I wonder what tokenomics means. The result is an indelible structure that is devised to promote eternal advancement and expansion. CBet is a token designed to intelligently return gaming revenues back to players. Unlike a typical casino VIP program where you may qualify for a seafood buffet following hours or days of play, players at CryptoBet earn CBet. This is known as behavioral mining. Net gaming revenues, NGR, are calculated by subtracting the totality of player wins from losses, and furthermore subtracting gaming provider fees and affiliate commission payouts. This is calculated monthly, and the entire amount is returned as Bitcoin payment to holders of CBet. There has never been a more transparent and simple way to participate in the prosperous, legal, licensed, and fully regulated online gaming industry. All net gaming revenues derived from the CryptoBet platform is returned to holders of CBet through our custom-built and proprietary blockchain revenue distribution platform for the first 120 months and then 80% thereafter. As a licensed and regulated gaming company and operators of record with CryptoBet, we as TG Tech NV function in collaboration with a leading blockchain technology company called TokenPay. This well-known crypto payments platform provider has built a considerable financial ecosystem, including an equity and strategic partnership with Germany's WEG Bank. In addition, TokenPay has recently partnered with Token Suisse, a highly regarded Swiss asset management firm that specializes in emerging blockchain investment strategies. TokenPay is an official partner of the Litecoin Foundation and Verge Currency and has been declared a 2019 top crypto company in Switzerland by PwC and Crypto Valley VC. It also owns BlockSize, a development company that has built the proprietary CBet Solidity smart contract protocol for integration into CryptoBet. Players are tired of traditional rewards programs that only favor the house. We partnered with BlockSize, a leading blockchain development firm, and created CBet. Players register on TokenPay's actually, it should be TokenBay, but it's TokenPay Blast platform and link their CryptoBet account. They can earn CBet rewards in real time as a reward simply for playing the casino, win or lose. CryptoBet platform. Unlike traditional dApps, CryptoBet is a fully licensed and regulated online casino and sportsbook. The highly popular crypto gambling dApps, such as dice games, are monotonous and plagued with errors. This drives rapid customer churn as players become easily bored and simply leave the platform after winning bets mysteriously don't get credited because of node failure or other unexplained glitch. The only real differentiation between games on dApp gambling platforms is token economy and operational tactics. There's not much variance between sites in the game development. Contrarily, CryptoBet is a full-fledged and dramatic entertainment center with 1,000 technologically immersive games, and every single bet is documented and accounted for by world-class game developers. CryptoBet offers 1,000 fully licensed and regulated games. The CryptoBet platform features live dealers, in-game and pre-match sports betting, esports betting, hundreds of table games, slots, and every historically popular game of chance that exists. New games are constantly being developed and released by our production partners, Microgaming, Pragmatic, Blue Ocean, and more. Yeah, I don't recognize a lot of these organizations. Let's see here. Nevertheless, gambling dApps are competing in a race to the bottom, with the house edge hovering around 1% or less. Absent of differentiation in game development, they compete only for offering the lowest priced odds. Maintaining high playing interest is extremely difficult for the gambling dApps, as the games are mundane and even the rare new releases become stale quickly as they're not very advanced or interesting. As a result, players are not loyal and tend to jump from platform to platform, chasing new games and bonus offers. For this reason, interest in every gambling dApp to date has eventually died off. Compare this to top-tier gaming companies like Bet365, which posted profit and revenue gains of over 25% for 2018 on a total bet volume of over $50 billion. Like Bet365, CryptoBet's industry classic casino games deliver a much higher gaming revenue margin versus the standard dice and ring games offered by nearly every gambling dApp. Several CryptoBet games feature margins that exceed 20%, many over 30%, and the average online casino and sportsbook gambling platform typically achieves a blended gaming revenue margin of 5 to 10% versus 1% or less for a gambling dApp running on the major platforms of Ethereum, EOS, or Tron. Licensed and regulated online gaming platforms represent an extremely profitable business, providing a very captivating user experience. This is owing to the variety and excitement of the games. CryptoBet operates the industry's most popular and advanced games priced in Bitcoin. We have established relationships and licensing agreements with the largest and most respected gaming manufacturers in the world, like Microgaming and Pragmatic. While gambling dApps operate with only niche cryptocurrencies like EOS, Tron, and Ethereum, CryptoBet is able to appeal to a much larger audience. Because we are licensed, CryptoBet can accept credit card payments through payment processors like NetTeller and Skrill, and also many other forms of payment that the unlicensed gambling dApps cannot accept. Therefore, our potential player base is much greater. Purchasing Bitcoin is relatively simple for an ordinary person. However, the top volume platform for gambling dApps is not Bitcoin. In fact, there are no Bitcoin gambling dApps. Gambling dApps are denominated mostly by a cryptocurrency called EOS. Making a bet at an EOS blockchain dApp gambling site requires the purchase of EOS, but obtaining EOS is challenging and requires an investment in an account and wallet that is complicated. Also, users are required to install a third-party desktop application like Scatter, which is often slow or completely unresponsive. EOS is simply difficult to understand or use. There is little chance that a non-blockchain technology expert consumer will be able or willing to even fund an account on an EOS gambling dApp platform. To illustrate the technical complexity, in September of 2018, with EOS RAM prices surging, CoinDesk called EOS a nightmare for crypto users. This is hardly the type of environment that will be conducive to attracting a mainstream gambling audience, and is a fundamental reason that illustrates why gambling dApp use is really only limited to relatively small and niche cryptocurrency community. As such, the cryptocurrency community only grows during bull markets, and it expeditiously contracts at all other points in time. Accordingly, to achieve desirable long-term sustainable growth, CryptoBet is uniquely positioned to appeal to mainstream gamblers with a piqued interest in cryptocurrency and blockchain. Everybody that enjoys gambling is essentially CryptoBet's core target market. In addition to offering 1,000 games from the top game development studios in the world and simple mainstream deposit options, CryptoBet also has a distinct advantage in marketing. By virtue of being a legal and licensed entity, advertising with standard media buys can be facilitated. Gambling advertising is heavily regulated, and only licensed entities are allowed to advertise at the most major and relevant media platforms, like Google, for instance. With 20% of gaming revenues being allocated into advertising on a daily basis, new player growth at CryptoBet is viable and continuous. Potential of it, anyway. Additionally, CryptoBet features a robust player referral program that is fully supported with modern creatives and marketing strategies preferred by today's leading industry affiliates. None of the gambling dApps are focused on marketing or offer any advanced strategies for affiliates and partners to deploy. We make things easy with our turnkey solutions and market accessibility. Oh my god, dude, they use that one buzzword. There's certain buzzwords that have been in business for quite some time. And usually I consider them to be hallmarks of scams, and turnkey is one of them. Now, whether or not these guys intend to be scams or whatever, I don't believe that they do, given the fact that they bothered to affiliate themselves with actual legitimate operators, both in cryptocurrency and abroad. However, I can detect a few problems. And one of which I would suggest, or predict rather, is that they're going to run into an issue with their Bitcoin liquidity. And while they've done all kinds of tap dancing to get around any kind of legal liability for anything that may result like that, you can only say so much shit. You know, and even the shit you say, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's legal or legally binding or anything like that. You know, and so like I said, the tap dance through the minefield that was the first 12 pages of this white paper, it's not going to shield anybody from legal liability in the case that their shit is hacked or it's compromised and people lose funds. Anything like that, they're not going to be able to get around their liability, and especially not if they're involved in any kind of legitimate organizations within gambling. Because as it's stated in this white paper, online gambling is a pretty regulated business. You know, now I think that the point that is kind of missed here on this white paper, and by people in general, is that with regard to this stuff, you don't really come into any issues if you're actually fulfilling on your promises. And that's the important part. You know, and again, the tap dancing that we saw early on in this white paper, that doesn't shield them from liability. You know, if they're knowingly baiting and switching people, like saying, oh yeah, we're going to be able to do this in your jurisdiction or whatever because we're licensed and whatnot, it's not going to shield them. It's not going to shield them at all. Anyway, so yeah, I think we're going to get out of this white paper. I think the claim that they're going to be able to pay out in Bitcoin is potentially a fraudulent one, only in that if say the price of Bitcoin tanks and they're having to pay out way more Bitcoin for each of the bets, right? And then all of a sudden Bitcoin spikes. Well, then they might find themselves in a liquidity hole because during the previous session they paid out a higher volume of Bitcoin than they took in, and then they get sucked at the spike, and they don't got no money. But anyway, I'm looking at their the people that they're actually qualified with. You know, like the Swiss, Malta, Curacao Gaming. I don't consider that a claim of legitimacy. If I saw in here that they were claiming to have a bit license by the NYDFS, that would say yes. We've actually bothered to get registered, and we've bothered to get fully licensed, and yes, we can operate within the jurisdictions of all 50 of the United States, but I'm not seeing any of that. And so I would go so far as to suggest this is probably not legally possible for you to use within the United States, or at least in certain states of the United States. But yeah, I don't know. I've read too much of the regulations involving finance and whatnot to see this thing being all that successful here in the United States. And so because we're going to jump off of that, we are going to get into some other articles, but not until we've actually gone back into some music. So let's get ahead and back into that. And we haven't played any body count tonight. There's something wrong with that. Let me scroll all the way up here to B's. B. Body count. Body count. There we go. Body count. Yeah, I went through and I edited all my metadata. And I swear, that's the only thing I don't like about Winamp is the metadata that's available for it is really limited. So like most new albums, you have to edit it in yourself. Anyway, let's go ahead and throw down with the Ski Mask Way here on Coin Metal. Slipknot, AOV. Yeah, I kind of cut it off a little bit short there, but these things happen. Anyway, so I got this new piece of media, and I gotta wonder how this is going to impact that whole DApp shit and behavior-based mining and crypto bet and all that business. So here it is. This is on Bitcoinist.com. Totally absurd. New FATF rules to turn Bitcoin exchanges into banks. And this is by Anja van Oosterhout. So no penis. This is authored June 12, 2019 at 1300 hours. No indication of time zone. Shame on you, Anja. Anyway, continuing on. Intergovernmental Body Financial Action Task Force, FATF, has committed to making 200 countries treat cryptocurrency exchanges like banks. Good luck with that one. FATF among biggest threats to crypto. As Bloomberg reported on June 11th, an update to how national regulators should treat businesses dealing with cryptocurrency tokens will officially go public on the 21st of the month. Its impact is not entirely clear, but experts are already warning that anyone, be it a business or a private investor, who exchanges more than 1,000 Bitcoin or $1,000 or 1,000 euros worth of crypto will have to provide personal information. I've already done that, dude. I don't give a fuck. For businesses such as exchanges and asset managers, the requirements stipulate the recipient of the funds must also be identified, something many have insisted is impossible with decentralized cryptocurrencies. The FATF can only make recommendations, and their application is a matter for each jurisdiction's authorities. Those countries which do not comply can face blacklisting, however, even removal from the global financial system. Quote, the recommendation could have a much larger impact than the SEC or any other regulator has to date, Eric Turner, director of research at crypto research firm Messari, told Bloomberg about potential changes in the U.S. Turner added that the issue is, quote, one of the biggest threats to crypto today. No, it isn't. Exchanging over $1,000 provide absurd evidence. As Bitcoinist reported, the FATF announced, and we're going to go ahead and click on that, an incremental approach to cryptocurrency management in October last year. Quote, as part of a staged approach, the FATF will prepare updated guidance on a risk-based approach to regulating virtual asset service providers, including their supervision and monitoring, and guidance for operational and law enforcement authorities on identifying and investigating illicit activity involving virtual assets its president, Marshall Billingslea, said at the time. Quote, by June we will issue additional instructions on the standards and how we expect them to be enforced. 2 months later, G20 members pledged to implement organization's suggestions in full, a stance it repeated this month. As the deadline approached, cryptocurrency figures were already sounding the alarm, noting the apparent ineptitude on the part of the FATF bureaucrats attempting to apply banking rules to Bitcoin and others. Quote, the people trying to understand Bitcoin are not consulting with anyone who actually understands it and who can put it into a proper context, as Teco CEO Akin Fernandez commented on Twitter in May. Uploading an image of how Bitcoin transactions contrast to a bank-to-bank one, he added, quote, Bitcoin is not a bank, this is not SWIFT, it is not your money, it is just a database. When you accept this, the above image looks totally absurd. What do you think about the FATF's new recommendations? I think they're full of shit, and I think they're going to fall flat on their face. For one thing, they're not an actual regulatory agency. They just provide advisement. So as far as what impact they're going to have on crypto, probably none. If anything, the only things that they'll really be able to impact are the institutions that they regulate, or I mean not regulate rather, but advise. So like banks. So basically fiat interfaces will be challenged, I would suspect, in which case what's going to happen? Stable coins will probably become much more popular. That's about it. Again, these organizations and the government entities that they're advising, they simply do not understand the situation at hand. And I can say that a million times, but if they really had the ability to enforce this kind of stuff, we wouldn't even be here right now. The fact of the matter is, this would have ended 5 years ago, when FinCEN made their first advisements. That would have been the immediate stall of any interface with fiat, but it hasn't been. What have we seen? Shit, we just talked about something on with regulated and licensed gambling institutions are supposedly popping up, meaning they're licensed somewhere. If not the United States, they are licensed somewhere, supposedly, according to their own statements. And that being the case, they're either going to already be under what kind of regulatory rubric that they have to be, or they're simply just going to get around any of the regulatory shit that they don't have to deal with. I mean, I guess people keep running into the issue of the difference between fiat currencies and Bitcoin, in that Bitcoin is international already. And it's digital, so it's not in any one place at any one time. It can be pretty much sent everywhere all the time. And same with other cryptocurrencies. And so, a lot of these really neat borders and a lot of these containment strategies that they've had before simply don't apply or simply don't work with cryptocurrencies. And so trying to enforce the same kind of regulatory framework that they had with fiat currencies on cryptocurrencies is simply absurd. Now, of course, they're going to try. And of course, they're probably going to bust somebody at some time. What effect that will have on the greater ecosystem, the crypto ecosystem as a whole, honestly, I believe that it will simply divert the interest and the traffic to another platform or another medium of exchange. They'll simply go to, these decentralized apps and stay there. Now, I did also address a little bit in that white paper that we covered earlier. They're probably planning to use this CryptoBet token as some sort of quote-unquote utility token. As far as I'm concerned, their description of it pretty much puts it in the terms of security, and probably even more so because it's an intermediating unit, meaning that it is redeemable for something of value. You know, if it's redeemable for EOS or Bitcoin or Neos or Verge or any of the others, it's got an exchange rate with something of actual value, which means it itself has at least implicit value, even if it is only within the gaming platform. And there seemed to be some suggestion at one point in this thing that there would be some sort of availability of it on an exchange. If that ever takes place, it will fully become a security, and the SEC will be jumping up their ass with both hands, especially if United States citizens have any kind of access to it. Anyway, I got this other article, and I don't think we're actually going to get into it. It's International Financial Watchdog, FATF, to introduce cryptocurrency rules in 2019. They've introduced, or at least suggest they're going to introduce, but it hasn't been introduced yet, I don't think, because otherwise we'd be reading it, and we're not. But speaking of bit license and regulatory hurdles that people have to deal with here in the United States, I got this other article here on Coindesk.com. NYDFS grants bit license to third Bitcoin ATM operator. And this is by Nickel HD, authored January 31st. Why the fuck did this even show up in my thing? Never mind. We're not even going to go into it. Fuck that. I don't know why that showed up on my Twitter feed. It's like January. Give me a break. But I've got this other thing here. And see, this one is a boondoggle in that we've been talking about the FATF, right? Well, what if your Lightning node is in one jurisdiction and somebody else's Lightning node is in another person's jurisdiction? And they both have different regulatory regimes concerning cryptocurrencies. Now, there has been this effort to introduce some sort of equanimity between all of the countries, you know, the G20 and all that. But actual application and actual assertion of control, I don't think it's actually going to come to that. Anyway, I got this article here on Coindesk.com. Could Bitcoin's Lightning power mobile communications? No. This startup thinks so. Yeah, whatever. And this is by Alyssa Herdig. It was authored June 13th, 2019 at 4 UTC. So apparently she is a time traveler. New research from mobile mesh networking company Gotenna explores how mobile communications can be decentralized with the help of Bitcoin's Lightning Network. Technologists have long explored how to use cryptocurrencies and blockchains to build programs where users are more in control of their data. Gotenna, the company behind the mesh network devices for internetless connections, is exploring a novel approach. To that end, the Gotenna team has released a new paper describing how decentralized mesh networks for sending, quote, mobile communications, such as text messages, could be powered by Bitcoin micropayments. What's more, they've established a new subsidiary, Global Mesh Labs LLC, to move forward with this goal. Let's get the new paper, too. Quote, 80 billion mobile messages are sent each day via carriers and internet service providers. Mobile mesh networks can offer an anti-fragile, decentralized alternative that can extend connectivity to places centralized networks can't, the project website argues. One hurdle to mesh network adoption is that people aren't really incentivized to run the infrastructure required to relay data across the network, the paper argues. Gotenna attempts to fix that by describing a new trust-minimized protocol with Bitcoin's Lightning at the center called Lot 49, which would pay users for relaying data. Any node can earn a reward for relaying data for others, and by being at the right place at the right time, the paper written by Gotenna engineer Richard Myers explains. The proposal is reliant on a couple of Bitcoin proposals that have been widely discussed but haven't yet been incorporated. Schnorr and sighash underscore non-input or no input. Before building and trying out the protocol, these things need to be added if the Bitcoin community agrees that they are good changes to make. One is Schnorr, a much anticipated new Bitcoin signature scheme that was first proposed years ago and has seen progress recently through the release of test code. Quote, to reduce incentive protocol overhead, we propose using signature aggregation, simplex payment channel updates, and payment channels formed between mesh nodes within direct communication range, the paper explains. Oh, Jesus. So not only are they attempting to violate banking and payments processing regulations, they're also trying to violate telecommunications regulations as well. Hey, what can I say? These guys are trying to disrupt, right? But there's one big problem. And you keep coming back to it with all of this Lightning bullshit. Is that in order to establish a payment channel, you have to upfront the money. And in order to upfront the money, you have to pay a transaction fee to have a transaction put on the Bitcoin blockchain. No transaction fee, no transaction, no payment channel, right? Okay, so who's going to pay the transaction fee for it to happen? This is the barrier you will continually run into with this Lightning Network bullshit. Continually, whether it's you establishing the payment channel or somebody else doing it for you. And the difference between the two situations, I believe anyway, will be a matter of transaction fees on the Bitcoin network going through the fucking roof. You know, people keep talking about, oh, I can't wait till Bitcoin's $100,000 or $300,000. Well, let me tell you something. Back when Bitcoin was $3,000, a transaction was on average about 15 cents for the transaction fee. And that's reasonable. You know, if you're establishing a payment channel, 15 cents is entirely manageable. It's way better than if you were paying $2 to your bank or anything like that. Really great, right? However, when Bitcoin got up to about $6,000, the average transaction fee was about $2. Or actually, I think it's between $2 and $3. And right now, I believe it's up to $3. I haven't had an opportunity to check and verify that. But nonetheless, we're talking about $8,000. Let's just assume for a moment that it is an average of $3 for a transaction fee. It's still reasonable if you're stacking like a month of Lightning payments that you're going to be paying to everybody over that period of time, and if you're pre-funding one of a payment channel to be able to handle this kind of transaction, this Gotenna business. But what about when you want to refresh, right? There's the top up. That requires a transaction fee too. And then when you want to close out the payment channel, that's another transaction fee. So now we're up to 3 transaction fees, so that's $9 total, right? But now let's extrapolate this a little further. We made the jump from $3,000 to $5,000, from 15 cents to $2 to $8,000, $3 for your transaction fee, average transaction fee rather. And so now, what if we get it to $10,000? Now we're going to be talking about $5 to $7 for your transaction fee, if not a little bit higher. Because I've noted multiple times on this show that the factor that is in there to calculate the fee, it's not a linear one. It's progressive, meaning the higher the value of Bitcoin, the higher the percentage it jumps. So when you're talking about extrapolating it out to $100,000 or $300,000 for Bitcoin, you're going to be talking about hundreds, maybe thousands of dollars for your transaction fee. Are you going to pay that? No. You're going to cut off about $20. You're going to hit that $20 mark and you're going to be like, well, fuck, I can't pay for transaction fees anymore. I'm going to have to go back to Visa, because they're offering me 15-cent transaction fees. You see how that works? That's what the limitation of 1 megabyte on the block size limit is imposing on the rest of us. It's taking what we had before and then selling it back to us more expensive and at the price of giving up the ability to doing it ourselves and having to rely on a third party to provide that service for us because we can no longer afford it ourselves. And I mean, I guess that's a little bit too deep thinking for a lot of people, because there seem to be a lot of people that's so confident that transaction fees are going to maintain a low and affordable rate that they're going to be able to afford to establish payment channels in perpetuity, or they're going to be able to dump enough money onto a payment channel that they'll be able to maintain it and stay on it and keep it there in perpetuity. And I've already noted that at one point or another, the payment channel thing is going to become an adversarial thing. That there are going to be adversarial nodes establishing relationships or connections rather on these payment channels and trying to get the fucking Bitcoin. And the threshold that's keeping that from happening right now is the fact that people don't have a lot of Bitcoin in their nodes. They're not hosting a ton of Bitcoin to go after. But we've already seen that the issues coming up in mining with it becoming not affordable to do because we're not being appropriately rewarded, because of batching and Lightning Network, all those transactions not happening on chain is costing the miners because they're doing the work, they're moving the funds around, but they're not getting compensated with a transaction fee for each one. And this differential will only get worse. If there's a drop off in the number of miners on the network, the fees themselves will go to a greater concentration of people, or a smaller concentration of people rather. And that's going to make those individuals bigger targets. The whole reason for doing your stuff on chain is that you don't have to worry about a host maintaining your funds in a hot wallet waiting for an adversary to come along and snatch it out of their hands. That's the whole reason for being able to have your own funds in your own hands. And I don't give a fuck about state channels or payment channels or anything. No. We've seen numbers of times. As soon as you get off into custody's hands, and I don't care if we're talking about a gambling site, I don't care if we're talking about Coinbase. As soon as you put enough money in their hands, that's the point where your money is most suspect to get ganked from you. And that's not going to change if we're talking about a Lightning Network node either. And it is with that, I'd like to close out this episode. Thank you very, very much for listening. I certainly do appreciate your support. We will be back again on Friday at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So until then, I'd like y'all to trade safe. Do your homework. And watch out for your own bunghole, because nobody else is going to do it for you. As far as our last dance is concerned, I haven't actually picked anything out yet, as usual. And so we're going to go ahead and go about that process right now. It's looking like we got just enough time to cram this one in. And so here it is. Probot, the Emerald Law. Last dance here on Coin Metal. Thank you again for listening, and you all have an excellent evening. Good night.